highly sensitive people are more prone to depression and are more prone to overcome it. And that is something that is super interesting. And if we keep that knowledge in our minds, then we can kind of not only feel our feelings of depression, but also know that we have what it takes to get out of it. Hello, beautiful. How are you today? So today I want to talk about being highly sensitive and depression. It does seem like a lot of highly sensitive people, HSPs, or other neurodivergent people are really more prone to depression and go through life having to face these feelings constantly. And I have a few ideas why that is. So first, I think it's pretty obvious with our nervous system being biologically different and meaning that we feel things very, very deeply. Well, it means that the hurt and the hard things that are in the world are really affecting us deeply. So it's a lot more challenging to navigate and just to feel all these feelings. Also, because the world is too loud for us, we tend to isolate ourselves. And from all the research, isolation and depression kind of go hand in hand and are really good companions. So I think that the isolation that we feel that we need to have also can contribute to feelings of depression. And other reasons why we do isolate ourselves is because the world is too hurtful and we get overstimulated, so we absolutely need to retreat by ourselves to be able to soothe our nervous system and regulate our emotions. Another reason is our high ability or inevitable ability for empathy. So we kind of don't have protection, we don't have these boundaries, and whatever the world around us is going through, whether globally or personally, we just feel what the world feels and what people around us feel, even what the environment feels, the animals, the trees, if you're sensitive to what's going on with nature, all of these things affect us deeply. And another reason why we are more subject to feeling depressed is that as highly sensitive people, two things. We have very likely repressed, suppressed, masked who we truly are, our true feelings, because they were not accepted in our families, in society. And suppressing these things is kind of a betrayal of ourselves, and it is something that we constantly feel as a background noise, a discordance, a disconnect between who we really are and who we're portraying ourselves to be, or like I said, all these things that we've suppressed. And because of how we're designed, we also likely have more of a journey through life of having to figure out who we are on the emotional side and in the becoming of who we are rather than accomplishments. Most people that are less sensitive, they can start life and they go into accomplishment mode. So they'll, go to school, get a job, buy a house, and all these things kind of fall into place in a normal sequence in terms of how this society is built. And because we can't do that, because our journey is different, well, we get a lot of feelings of inadequacy and like we don't fit in. And that's another source of reasons for feeling depressed. But there's some good news too. Here's my little spiel for today. If you're watching this video and finding value and think that it's doing something positive for you in your life, please subscribe, like it, and share the channel. We need to keep building this community, and of course, it's exciting for me when I see that people are responding. So, we all don't want to feel alone. Let's keep gathering and building this together. Thanks. There are some research that were done, and kind of the conclusion that I picked up on is that highly sensitive people are more prone to depression and are more prone to overcome it. And that is something that is super interesting. And if we keep that knowledge in our minds, then we can kind of not only feel our feelings of depression, but also know that we have what it takes to get out of it. And why is that? Because one, these are my ideas. So I'm not stating research here. These are my reflections. Because we are so affected by everything and we are easily kind of taken down into negative emotions, we have the ability to bounce back. We have developed such a resilience in life because of kind of the roller coaster ride of our negative deep emotion, the positive super emotion, the negative super emotion. So we're kind of used to the depleted, renewed, depleted, renewed, depleted, renewed, and that gives us a lot of resilience and plasticity to our brain, and that gives us more ability to get out of depression. And I've said that about people who live with chronic illness like I do, like I have since I was 11 years old, with ulcerative colitis and all kinds of stuff. We are freaking amazing phoenixes. We keep rising from our ashes again and again and again. So resilience, amazing phoenixes, people with chronic illness or highly sensitive people, this is something that we have the ability to do because we've been doing it our entire life. We may be perceived, whether you're chronic illness or highly sensitive people or neurodivergent in some ways, we may be perceived and seen as being weaker than others because in a way we're more fragile and more reactive. But the truth is, it is the strength that we build that makes us amazing. So we appear weak, but truly, because of how much overcoming we do, we are actually very, very strong people. Another reason why we can overcome depression more easily is that we not only feel all the negative emotions very intensely, but we also feel all the good emotions very intensely. So we feel joy, gratitude, love, awe, wonder a lot more intensely. And those are sources of fuel. So we may feel the depression deeply, but we have that ability to feel everything that's really beautiful in the world also deeply. So if we can tap into that, it can help us to get out of our depression. And as many of us know, many of you have commented on different videos, our connection to the natural world is absolutely deep and essential to our survival, pretty much. It's where we find peace, solace, salvation. It's where we can refuel. And that divine connection that we have with the natural world is like a flash of divine creative fuel that can just fill us up. So going to nature is key for us because we have a very sensitive, direct relationship with nature, and we can use that to help us rebuild. And finally, another idea about why we can get out of depression more easily is that highly sensitive people tend to have a very rich inner life. We are very introspective because we felt so much all our lives that we kind of have had to. It's almost something that we can't escape. And so that awareness of ourselves is like a step ahead of other people who can fall into depression and actually not notice. But as highly sensitive people, we can more quickly realize what's going on with us, and we can choose to take steps, ask for help, or like I said, go to nature, use different tools to get us out of that state. So that's it. I just wanted to acknowledge that, yes, highly sensitive people, we are more prone to depression. It's a fact. Life feels harder, the world is louder, and emotions run deeper. So we are more prone, but let's remember that we have what it takes. We are more likely to overcome that depression. So whenever you feel that state of gloom and darkness, first of all, accept it because it is what it is. It's how we're designed, and we are going to be affected deeply. But just keep in mind that you also have the tools of resilience and all the other things that I've named. We have the strength, the tools, and the ability to get ourselves out. So that's it for today. I will see you soon. Have a great week, and I love you. Bye.